Hello. In today's episode, I'll discuss how bar symbols became traditional to slot machines dating back to 1910. As you likely already know, bar reel symbols are still commonly used today. The bar symbol started as a company logo, originally a photo of a chewing gum pack before being stylized as a bar. Also, District of Columbia slot machine casino gambling. The final segment of the show is something new, a casino trip report on my 8th casino visit of 2017. I'll also be presenting an Apple Podcast review from Sloppy Golf. If you give the Professor Slots show a rating and review, I promise to read them and, as time permits, mention them in an upcoming episode. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is the podcast about slot machine casino gambling. This is where I provide the knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps or alternatively on my website at professorslots.com/E11.
John Friedel from the Professor Slots blog reveals all his slot machine casino gambling strategies, as well as tips and tricks for thriving in the casino environment. Choose winning slot machines and identify your gambling goals. Being entertained, earning comps, winning take-home cash, or combining them. John has won 90 taxable jackpots and a luxury car in 9 months of slot play and made a profit at slots gambling since 2013.
Remember to visit professorslots.com/free. Again, that's professorslots.com/free to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Let's get started with the first segment of the show. Why do slot machines say bar? Why do slot machines say bar on their reels? Well, to understand why this tradition came to be, we will need to delve into slot machine history a bit. First of all, these gambling devices weren't always called slot machines. Slot machines are originally referred to as a one-armed bandit, then later, in Great Britain, as a fruit machine. A slot machine gambling device is activated by pulling a handle or pushing a button. This can only be done after coins, tokens, cash, or casino credits have been entered. Consequently, reels with symbols begin to spin. When done spinning, the symbols shown lined up along pay lines used to determine the payout, if any. Reel symbols are often traditional, including stars, bars, numbers, and various pictured fruits. Fruits can include cherries, plums, oranges, lemons, and watermelons. The number 7 was also very popular, as is the word jackpot itself. And finally, then there are bar reel symbols. Fruit reel symbols were first used in slot machines by the Industry Novelty Company of 1909. This was quickly followed the next year by Mills Novelty Company of Chicago, inherited by Herbert Stephen Mills, with a slight addition. Mills added the photograph of a chewing gum pack along with the fruit reel symbols. Soon after, these photographs of a chewing gum pack were replaced with a stylized bar symbol. Slot machines have a very rich history. Within gaming device circles of the time, it was well known that Charles Augustus Fay of San Francisco refused to sell or lease the design of his first coin-operated slot machine, the Liberty Bell, which he invented around 1887. So, how did Mills get the slot machine design from Fay? There are 2 theories. First, that Fay cooperated with Mills to spread the use of slot machines. After all, Fay is known as the father of slots, both for his invention of the slot-operated device as well as popularizing its use. The second theory is that Mills somehow obtained a Liberty Bell as a result of a San Francisco saloon robbery in 1905. I kid you not. Less than a year later, Mills produced a new version of the Liberty Bell called either the Mills Liberty Bell or Operator Bell. During my review of the history of early slot machines, there are also suggestions the bar symbol may have had another origin story. It is generally accepted that the bar symbol is a stylized image of a chewing gum pack, as well as a company logo. However, according to some historical sources, the company having that logo may have been the Bell Gum Fruit Company. As mentioned, slot machines have a very rich history, especially in their early days. Besides why do slot machines say bar, there are a few other interesting historical items of interest. In 1916, another historic slot machine innovation created by the Mills Novelty Company was the jackpot. When a specific combination of reel symbols resulted from a bet, The slot machine would empty its coin hopper of all coins as a prize. The Mills Novelty Company would later go on to produce slot machines with wooden cabinets, rather than the original cast iron construction materials. Charles Fay manufactured about 100 Liberty Bell slot machines in and around San Francisco. However, there are few of them remaining in existence. The scarcity of Fay's Liberty Bell slot machines is a direct result of a natural disaster occurring shortly after their manufacture, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. Online, I found a few pictures of these early slot machines at Cypress Casino Consultant, Casino Observer, and the International Arcade Museum. Since this is an audio podcast, I'll try to describe them to you. The Cypress Casino Consultant website shows 4 slot machines on a waist-high countertop. They appear to have wood cabinets and are each about 30 inches high by 18 inches wide. In metric, that's about 76 centimeters by 46 centimeters. Each slot machine is of the one-armed bandit variety, meaning they appear to be activated by first inserting a coin and then pulling a large lever on the right side of the machine. Each of these models appear to accept coins at the top, as well as dispense coins for winners at the bottom. The Casino Observer website also shows 4 slot machines. 2 of these machines are some of the first slot machines from about 1890, while 2 others are more modern, say 1940s. The 2 older slot machines receive coins, but only the poker machine appears to not be able to dispense coins. This poker machine has the typical card suits as real symbols and a cast metal type cabinet. It appears to be missing its one-armed bandit lever, perhaps due to damage or it never had a lever. The other older slot machine does have coin dispenser capability and is clearly identified as a Liberty Bell. It rests on cast feet located on each of the corners of the cabinet, and the real symbols show 3 Liberty Bells, but its pay table shows card suits, not fruits or bars. The International Arcade Museum website shows a single slot machine. It's a very old slot machine showing the symbol of the Liberty Bell on its front, next to 3 reels showing Liberty Bell, bar, and fruit reel symbols. This is probably a Liberty Bell by Charles Fay, but must be a slightly later version due to it having obvious fruit and bar reel symbols. It also has a cast metal type cabinet and the distinctive feet of a Liberty Bell. In addition, it has a small tray for coins, suggesting it has automatic payouts. In summary, starting in 1907, Bell Fruit Gum slot machines were manufactured by Industry Novelty Company, followed by Mills Novelty Company a few years later. The reels on these slot machines included cherry, melon, orange, apple, and bar symbols, with non-cash payouts in the form of fruit-flavored gum, allowing machine owners to avoid prosecution under the anti-gambling laws of that time. The cherry and bar symbols became traditional to slot machines and are still commonly used today. The bar symbol was a company logo, originally a photo of a chewing gum pack before being stylized as a bar. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/free. Again, that's ProfessorSlots.com/free to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps or alternatively on my website at ProfessorSlots.com/E11. Let's get started with the second segment of the show, District of Columbia Slot Machine Casino Gambling. The District of Columbia has no casinos, and specifically, no slot machines. However, within a few hours' drive are casinos located in the bordering states of Maryland and Virginia. The United States has a single U.S. federal district, formerly named the District of Columbia. This district is commonly referred to as Washington, D.C., and is the capital of the United States. It has a total area of 68 square miles, of which 61 square miles is land rather than water. Because Washington, D.C. has a state lottery, its local government does include a gaming commission, the Office of Lottery and Charitable Games. D.C. lottery players must be 18 years of age or older, but a person under 18 may receive a lottery ticket as a gift and be paid a lottery prize. In the District of Columbia, it is legal to own slot machines manufactured prior to 1952, if intended for exhibition or private use by the owner, and not used for gambling purposes. Washington, D.C.'s Office of Lottery and Charitable Games identifies their mission as to provide revenue-generating entertainment through the sales of innovative lottery products and promotions that directly benefits the residents and the economic vitality of the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia legalized its lottery in 1982. As stated on their website, the D.C. Lottery pays out more than 50% of annual sales in prize money, totaling $3 billion since 1982. The unofficial logo of the D.C. Lottery is "Lots of People Win." Regarding D.C. gambling establishments, well, there are no casinos within the District of Columbia. The nearest casinos, as mentioned, are located in the bordering states of Maryland and Virginia. So, in summary, District of Columbia slot machine casino gambling is unavailable. No casinos or slot machines for the purpose of gambling exist within the District of Columbia, commonly referred to as Washington, D.C. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/free. Again, that's ProfessorSlots.com/free to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps or, alternatively, on my website at ProfessorSlots.com/E11. Let's get started with the third and final segment of the show, Casino Trip number 8. To build credibility and grow my audience, I plan to demonstrate how my winning techniques work, but be aware that some of the techniques I'll be using on these trips use approaches I've refined over years. I still have a lot of slot machine casino gambling topics to cover in upcoming episodes, and some of them include advantage plays that work well in limited circumstances. That is to say, in other words, after months of prior effort, I've figured out a few winning patterns at casinos I played at the most, at casinos I know the best. Despite planning to use advantage plays I haven't yet discussed with you, I hope that it will provide some value about the practical aspects of a casino visit, including some of the difficulties. Another great value is it'll also be a great way to keep up with the new situations and changes being made at casinos. What follows is a casino trip report I recorded a few minutes after leaving a casino in which I'd played slot machines. On this trip, I was using a $500 bankroll. Here it is.
Hello, everybody. This is John Friedel, Professor Slots. I'm here at a casino in Ohio where I live, a local casino that I know well, and I thought I would come in today and bring a $500 bankroll, play some slot machines. There's a particular way to win that I've discovered here at this particular casino. It's a new casino. It's a racino. It has a racetrack. Not that I'm there for that, but also slot machines. So I came in and was gambling for about 15 minutes. I brought in $500. We call that a bankroll. And then proceeded to play as I know how to play at this casino, where I've won a car a couple of years ago and quite a few taxable jackpots. So for this particular casino, and I need to have a later podcast episode about this, what you do is you play a slot machine for only at most 5 bets. And you really do want to watch out for slot machines that show a win. There's a very good chance that if it's showing a win, that no one's played it for some time, and that's what you're looking for, slot machines that haven't been played for some time, because this casino sets up its slot machines to win if it hasn't been played for a while. And then it doesn't. The first 5 chances, first 5 bets after is when you're going to win, if you're going to win, and then you could play it for hours. I've played them for hours, and nothing will happen. So just the first 5 bets at this particular casino. And for those of you who play slots, and I assume most of you do because you wouldn't be listening or watching otherwise, that's a pattern to watch for. It doesn't happen at every casino, but when it does, it's a great thing to just believe it's happening and then just play this way. I came in and I played for 15 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that, and played about 6 different machines that I liked. First 2 machines were $25 2-credit machines, and I played about 4 or 5 times on each one. And so I spent $150 per machine. So I ended up, after playing those two machines, didn't win anything and was down to $200. And then I proceeded to play on $5 machines for 2 credits, mostly, another 4 machines or so, and spent the $200 and also won $290. So I went into the casino with $500 and I am leaving the casino with $290. So that's a bit of a loss this time for me, but things do go up and down, and it has been a while for me. I think the main thing was, I think these slot machines had been played recently. Yesterday was a holiday in the United States. Pretty sure the casino was busy, so I should probably have waited for a few more hours to give the slot machines a chance not to be played, and then maybe I would have won more. There's a particular time I like, which is around noon on Sundays, because usually Friday nights are busy and Saturday nights are busy, but Sunday mornings are very quiet at a casino, and 12 hours of not being played is about what I need in order to win more than I lose. So I may try this again for the next episode, a slightly better time. But I'm always trying to win, figure out new ways to win. So I take this experience as a learning experience. I only won $290, spent $500. So my loss was, of course, $210. Okay. I also want to give a shout out to Rob and Justin, who I was talking to on the escalator on the way out. They are a couple of gentlemen playing slots, and I told them a bit of my story, gave them my card, and hey, Rob, hey, Justin, it was nice meeting you. Good luck at slots. Okay, so that's about all I wanted to say at this time about this visit. Looking forward to the next one, and back to the podcast. See you later. Bye.
Okay, so that was my brief trip report recorded shortly after leaving the casino. So far this year, I've made 8 trips to casinos. I'm currently making a 13% annual profit. I've decided to provide the specific bankroll and amount of profit I've earned in U.S. dollars. The total for all 3 bankrolls so far this year has been $5,270. My gambling profit, not yet including the fair market value of a few small complimentary gifts, is $667. That is to say, I've spent $5,270 and won back $5,270 plus $667 on top of that. So I've won back all my bankrolls with an additional profit of $667, which is the 13% annual profit that I'm currently making. I want to also mention that I have plans to provide a simple graph on my website, ProfessorSlots.com, showing bankroll, profit, and return on investment data from my gambling records for each year. I'll keep you posted in an upcoming episode on my progress in providing this information. I also have a review to share from the U.S. version of Apple Podcasts from November 4th, 2017 by Sloppy Golf. Its title is Interesting Ways to Improve Your Odds. Quote, I go to the casino once a month with a $300 bankroll. After listening to the first 5 episodes, I went to 3 casinos this weekend. By selecting my max bet amount from my bankroll and machines that rated higher goodness ratios, and being selective with my bet amounts until I felt I had a good machine, I was amazed. At 3 casinos, I cleared $120, $3,150, and $1,850. It is easy to say coincidence or just lucky, but all 3 in a 2-day period? Give these shows a listen with an open mind, and maybe you'll win a $3,150 signer on a $5 max bet top dollar machine too. And then he has a winking smiley face. End quote. Again, if you'd like to provide a rating or review, simply use your podcast app or visit ProfessorSlots.com/Apple Podcasts for Apple users, or finally, ProfessorSlots.com/Android for Android users. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is Fun Ways to Protect Yourself, aka Casino Safety. This will have an introduction, a section on slot players carry cash, casino security services, casino safety is linked to casino reputation, bring a friend for casino safety, and a summary. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is Florida Slot Machine Casino Gambling, As usual, I have subsections on introduction, relevant legal statutes on gambling, slot machine private ownership, state gaming commission, gambling establishments, and a summary. Part 3 of the next episode of the Professor Slot podcast is Casino Trip Report number 9, when I'll report on playing slot machines using my winning techniques, along with my results as well as whatever else happened during that casino visit. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode can be found within most podcast apps or alternatively at professorslots.com/E11. I plan to have the next episode out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Please subscribe to and review the show. That would help so much. Here's how to subscribe. If you're an Apple user, simply visit professorslots.com/Apple Podcasts. If you're an Android user, simply visit professorslots.com/Android. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.